I'm not huge on like comparing the WNBA and the NBA. Like, I don't really think that's fair.
Caitlin Clark, and I'm going to tell you, very solid answer, because she's asked about comparing the WNBA to the NBA. She doesn't agree with Angel Reese.
Because I'm hearing like, yeah, they don't give us, if y'all don't give us what we want, like, we sit out.
That's a possibility.
Angel Reese wants credit. The reason why WNBA is up is because of Angel Reese. She's not getting enough credit. She did this too. She taunted Caitlin Clark. She made this whole...
Angel Reese recently made the startling announcement that she must get more money or leave the WNBA.
You lost 40, 50 million. You know who would clap for you all sitting out? The NBA. So they don't have to subsidize your dumbasses to the tune of 40 to 50 million a year.
However, when Caitlin Clark questioned her about the WNBA and NBA comparison, she shut her out entirely. Clark ruined the debate by claiming it was meaningless and revealing the unpleasant reality that Angel Reese finds unacceptable.
Stupid arrogance, entitlement, racism, sexism will fly. I.
I don't like Angel Reese. She's just bad news. She's just an angry feminist. He may marry Brittany Griner at some point. Who knows? I find Angel Reese completely unlikely.
Even though Reese says he will not be present, Clark knows that money follows effect rather than entitlement, and the figures show that Clark is the one bringing in the viewers, money, and league's future.
Now, Caitlin Clark has beaten some of those NBA ratings, but they're still better than the majority of all WNBA.
So, is Angel Reese insane for equating herself with NBA players? Did Caitlin Clark just put a stop to this argument once and for all? Let's take a closer look at it.
The Ion Network is drawing like 1 million views off of a WNBA game. You know something has changed. You got one player in this league that is doing that. Caitlin Clark, that's it.
Not only did Caitlin Clark address Angel Reese's grievances, but she also rationally dismissed them.
Y'all benefited from everything. Y'all youngins benefited from NIL.
What does that mean? We deserve more.
I guarantee you, the intelligent folks, and there are plenty in the WNBA, are saying, will you two idiots just shut up? Sit out.
And isn't she shooting like 35% from the field? Can somebody tell me who in the world watches a 35% shooter from the paint that is basically grabbing her own rebounds from her own missed shot?
While Angel Reese was busy griping about her pay and threatening to skip work if she didn't receive more, Clark adopted a totally different tack. When asked about the ongoing controversy surrounding the salary comparison between the NBA and WNBA at a public event, she delivered a sobering reality check that revealed the players' faulty mindset.
This league has never turned a profit. 28-year existence of this women's pro basketball league, it has been kept afloat because of the subsidization of the NBA, keeping it alive. Otherwise, it would have died a long time ago, and Caitlin Clark would have never had a chance to straighten out.
By declaring, "I'm not huge on comparing the WNBA to the NBA," Clark ended the entire conversation. She is entirely correct that comparing the two leagues is absurd when you consider the numbers, and I don't think it's fair.
The NBA Finals still drew maybe 7 million or something like that. The NBA plays roughly twice as many games. There is still a significant...
The NBA generates billions through media rights sponsorships and massive global viewership, while the WNBA has never even turned a profit in nearly 3 decades of existence.
You understand supply and demand, if you understand television ratings, if you understand media rights deals, if you got common sense, there's no reason for a WNBA player to ever in life compare the WNBA to the NBA.
Angel Reese refuses to admit that Clark understands fundamental business fundamentals. The NBA attracts millions of spectators per game, fills enormous arenas, and generates enormous advertising revenue. Income.
The WNBA star was speaking at the 2025 cardiovascular research event and was asked for her opinion on the gap between the two leagues. For Caitlin Clark, comparisons between the leagues is pointless. Somebody's got a brain.
However, the WNBA is still working to expand, and Caitlin Clark alone, not Angel Reese, is the only reason it is even witnessing a rise in viewership.
That's who everybody has tuned into, is Caitlin Clark. It is not anybody else.
If Angel Reese came into the league without Caitlin Clark, nobody would know who Dejon Carrington was, her sidekick, or no one would know who Angel Reese is.
I think where the WNBA is right now is pretty incredible. Most people wouldn't believe we'd even be at this point, and the sky is the limit. In other words, Clark is focused on progress while Reese is focused on entitlement. This is where Clark's response really exposed the hypocrisy.
I'm not huge on like comparing the WNBA and the NBA. Like I don't really think that's fair. Obviously, I think where the WNBA is right now is pretty incredible. I think a lot of people, or most people, would not believe it's in the place that it is right now. So I think when people always ask me this question, like where I think it'll be in 5 years, is like it's hard for me to answer because people didn't even think we'd be right here right now. And I think really sky's the limit. I think when you see, our TV numbers when we're on, national television, we're averaging over 1 million viewers or whatever it is. The All-Star game, I think, was over 4 million viewers. Like, it's just really great numbers. So the more opportunities we're given, I think the more it's going to shine and get better and better. I think also the talent level in college is continuing to get a lot better, and as those players come into the league, and it's going to continue to improve. We're adding 2 new teams next year, and then probably another team year after that. So more games, which I think will be good. It will lengthen the season a little bit more.
Clark is aware that the WNBA may expand, but this won't be accomplished by making baseless threats or enforcing unsupported pay rises. Rather, the goal should be to develop the league, attract more viewers, and attract higher compensation.
You'd actually, if you really want to go into business, you need to pay some money back. You made absolutely nothing. You haven't really enhanced the league. Caitlin Clark has.
We have to be completely honest about this, whether we like it or not. 90% of this revived or renewed interest is really based around one singular player.
Clark clarified that NBA players earn more because they bring in more money. It's not about gender. It's about business. While Reese is playing the victim, Clark is working hard and genuinely altering the game. This was a devastating blow to Reese's entire argument.
That's the reason that a lot of these new players from these other teams decided to join her, because guess what? Every time they play a game, 3 to 3.5 times more people will be watching them than they were prior.
And that's exactly why Caitlin Clark is the one getting the attention, the endorsements, and the respect, while Angel Reese is stuck making empty threats.
Deserve more, everybody, but we have to face the consequences. The women coming in next year are probably going to make more than us. I got to get in the meetings because I'm hearing if y'all don't give us what we want, we're sitting out. Of course, Dejanay said, yeah, that's a possibility for real. That was kind of a possibility on the last one.
She just threatened the lockout. If y'all don't give us what we want, we sitting out. This is why sometimes you probably should have somebody look over a podcast. She's threatening to go on strike. I actually understand it's the way negotiations work in the CBA, not on a podcast.
While Caitlin Clark was making rational points about how the WNBA can grow, Angel Reese was doing the complete opposite, demanding more money and threatening to sit out if she didn't get what she wanted. On her podcast, Unapologetically Angel, she boldly claimed that WNBA players deserved massive salary increases, and even suggested that players might boycott games if their demands weren't met. Reese's exact words were, if y'all don't give us what we want, we sitting out.
If I was funding this league, I'd say, all right, hold on. You got a golden goose. We all got one in Caitlin Clark. These people that are criticizing Caitlin Clark, these people that are hitting Caitlin Clark, these people that are talking as if they are as important as Caitlin Clark are hurting our opportunity. They're hurting the brand.
Will Caitlin Clark ever be paid by the WNBA what she's worth? I don't think that's possible.
Simply put, that comment demonstrates how disconnected from reality Reese is. The WNBA has never made money, but she feels entitled to demand more. Let's face it, WNBA salaries are low because the league doesn't make enough money.
You want to grow the game? All right, grow the game. All I'm saying is if you want to play with the big leagues, if you want to be somebody that transcends the game, you got to have a personality. I will give Angel Reese this. She has a personality. It's ignorance. It's stupid. I mean, it's really stupid.
In contrast to the NBA, which generates billions of dollars from TV deals, sponsorships, and ticket sales, the WNBA depends on the NBA for financial support. The NBA owners financed the WNBA to offset its losses, and the league would cease to exist immediately without that backing.
Instead, people are saying, look, morons, you're just morons. And the more you talk, the dumber you sound. I hate to say it.
Angel Reese acts as though she and the other WNBA players should receive higher salaries simply for playing basketball, but that isn't how business operates. Instead, you get paid according to your contribution, And the truth is that Reese hasn't had a significant role in the league's recent expansion.
Continue to use my voice to speak for what we want and deserve as a league. Thank you. No, that's not what you did. You said me, I. They're going to get more than us. I deserve more, blah, blah, blah. Oh, shut up.
Let's not forget that Reese had many opportunities to earn money through end deals while she was in college. She even boasted about earning millions from endorsements before ever setting foot on a WNBA court. Now, however, she is acting like a victim, complaining that she doesn't get paid enough and comparing herself to NBA players who compete in a league with a totally different financial level.
I guarantee you, people that are actually going to be at the negotiating table are saying right now this word. Will you shut up?
Even more shocking is the fact that Reese is publicly threatening a lockout while not even serving on the board of the Women's National Basketball Players Association. This is not only unprofessional, but reckless and detrimental to the league's reputation. Even her own supporters ought to be questioning what specifically Angel Reese has done to merit a higher salary. At best, her core performance is average. She shoots less than 40% from the field and inflates her stats by rebounding off missed shots.
I have a suggestion for you. Don't sit down. You have a real opportunity right now. The only time, think about it, baseball is going to go away on ESPN. ESPN is pushing women's sports like never before. Instead of having every single person with a reasonable mind say, look, morons, nobody's going to miss you. This is your time. Take advantage of.
Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is breaking records, making viewing milestones, and single-handedly enhancing the value of the WNBA. Angel Reese is acting like she's greater than the league and demanding NBA-level salaries without generating NBA-level revenue. But the cruel reality is that the WNBA won't even notice if Caitlin Clark departs if Angel Reese does.
Tell these idiots to shut up, stand down, because their threats are meaningless to the average viewer. Meaningless.
And that's precisely why Clark is receiving the money, the sponsorships, and the recognition while Reese is left whining. Angel Reese may demand anything she wants, but the facts show that Caitlin Clark is the cause behind the WNBA's unexpected surge in popularity.
It's the hell out of watching Angel Reese miss free throws and layups and throw the ball off the underneath of the backboard and not know the rules. Stop it, stupid.
The WNBA had a record-breaking spike in revenue, ticket sales, and viewership as soon as Caitlin Clark joined the league. When Clark plays, WNBA games consistently draw millions of viewers who had never been interested in women's basketball before, outperforming NBA games in terms of viewership. Arenas are completely booked, merchandise is flying off the shelves, and even her rivals profit from the publicity she generates.
There's no accountability for black female feminists. They can say anything, and if you criticize it, you're racist. Period. End of story.
However, Angel Reese, despite all of her claims that she deserves more, her influence is negligible because she isn't the main factor for the WNBA's success. Despite all of this, Reese has the gall to compare herself to Clark and demand more money. Prior to Clark's arrival, the WNBA was barely able to draw in 500,000 people every game. Now, some of his games have surpassed the million-viewer mark, something Reese has never done. Clark's fame revolutionized the WNBA. All Reese wants is the credit.
She says she is focused on how the WNBA can keep growing. I'm not huge on comparing the WNBA to the NBA. I don't think that's fair. I think where the WNBA right now is pretty incredible. I think most people would not believe it's in the place it's in right now. When people keep asking those questions of where I believe it's going to be in 5 years, the answer is people didn't even think we'd be where we are right now. And I think really the sky's the limit. Clark's comments come after Angel Reese was the subject of intense social media scrutiny after she threatened to boycott WNBA games if the league does not meet the players' demands.
Let's face it, would anyone be discussing Angel Reese at this time if Caitlin Clark hadn't entered the WNBA? Reese likes to claim that she contributed to the league's expansion, but her rivalry with Clark is the only reason her name has remained significant.
Jenny Carrington, you wouldn't even know who she was if she didn't try to beat up Caitlin Clark in a game. You wouldn't even know, but these two clowns got together as the dumbest people in sports and saying, wait for it, they need more money, threatening to hold out if they don't get what they want.
She gained notoriety when she made fun of Clark during the NCAA championship game, but not all controversy leads to long-term success. Clark, however, supported her hype with performances that broke records. She took that momentum into the professional ranks after becoming a college sensation. Supporters of Reese want to portray her as being on par with Clark. However, the statistics refute that claim. Clark enjoys greater media coverage, higher ratings, and more endorsements. While Reese hasn't done anything to really increase the league's worth other than wine, Clark is the reason WNBA tickets are selling at NBA-level pricing, and his games are the most viewed in WNBA history.
Angel Reese is the most unskilled basketball player in the history of basketball, in my opinion. She has no skills. She knows that she's not a very good basketball player. That's why she spends so much time half naked and taking pictures and promoting things that have nothing to do with basketball.
This is Angel Reese, the content creator side. It's pretty clear basketball is her top priority. I cannot imagine how anybody could view this athlete in any other way. It's clear basketball is front and foremost. This is all helping with things like shooting better from the field and missing layups. She has no rhythm, just like she can't make a layup. Practice layups. OnlyFans incoming.
Clark is assisting WNBA players. When Reese talks about wanting more money, she ignores the fact that her own salary is rising as a result of the attention Clark brings to the league before Clark, which is where the hypocrisy becomes evident. Even players who once detested Clark are now benefiting from her presence. Because of Clark's enormous fan base, the WNBA was in critical need of publicity. As a result, networks like ESPN and CBS were willing to pay more for the broadcast rights, which would enhance league income, player endorsement deals, and player compensation. Instead of recognizing this, Reese tries to minimize Clark's influence and make it about herself. She acts as though she is on the same level as Clark, but in reality, the only reason she is still being discussed is because she is Clark's rival. In fact, many WNBA players signed with the Indiana Fever not because of the team's record, but because they knew that playing with Clark meant more exposure, better sponsorship deals, and higher potential earnings. Reese is replaceable, as seen by her false threats, but Clark isn't.
WNBA is currently in talks with the Women's National Basketball Association, PA, over a new CBA. The union is looking to dramatically increase salaries for its players and close the gap with the NBA. It's not going to come close. Right now, a minimum WNBA contract is $64,154 per year, while the NBA is $1,160,000, and I'm shocked.
This is the final reality. Nothing would change if Angel Reese quit the WNBA tomorrow. Ticket sales and TV ratings would not fall, and she is not the league's spokesperson. However, if Caitlin Clark quit tomorrow, the WNBA as a whole would disintegrate.
A new CBA is set to go into effect in 2026, and Reese said on her Unapologetically Angel podcast that players could skip games if negotiations fall apart. If y'all don't give us what we want, we sitting out.
Caitlin Clark is receiving the money, endorsements, and respect because she is truly earning it, while Reese is merely demanding it. This is because the league's largest ticket draw, media attraction, and financial asset would vanish overnight. TV networks would lose interest, attendance would fall, and all the momentum that has been building would vanish.
It didn't stop WNBA players and head morons, head haters, head racists, head sexists, Angel Reese and her sidekick, Dejanay Carrington, from going on a podcast. And when these two go on a podcast, you know what's going to happen. You got a duck. There's more stupid. I guarantee you, those women, the intelligent ones, the one that have a brain, the one that are actually going to sit down and do this, are saying to Angel Reese, shut up, take off your clothes, show your ass, talk about how Hollywood stars want to date you, and move it along. Let us handle this. And you just keep being stupid and work on your layups.
Since Angel Reese knows deep down that she can't, she's trying desperately to stay relevant by attacking Clark rather than doing what Clark does, which is to change the game through performance rather than entitlement. The real question is, then, if she truly thinks she's worth more, why doesn't she prove it instead of complaining about salaries? Why doesn't she attract millions of viewers like Clark does? Instead of comparing herself to NBA players, why doesn't she elevate her own game and make herself indispensable?
I cannot believe this is actually a clip that somebody put out to try to make her look good. This makes her look terrible. I'm shocked. That was pathetic. And then finally, she makes the layup. We're celebrating that? Really? Taller than hell out there. Can't hit a layup. Get in the lab, shoot 200 layups a day, every single 365 days. Is there anybody else in the WNBA or NBA that does this more than Reese? From tonight's game, third quarter, in 16 seconds, Reese took 4 shots, missed the first 3 shots, got an offensive rebound off her own 3 misses, and then finally made the 4th. But, quote, double-double, this looks just like Chicago Sky shit from last year. This dude's a white dude. He's getting called a racist over basketball criticism.
Angel Reese can whine all she wants, but there is no denying reality. The WNBA is growing because of Caitlin Clark, not because of her. While Reese is busy demanding things and threatening to skip games, Clark is drawing crowds, packing arenas, and ultimately demonstrating her value at every game. Money follows impact rather than entitlement. The WNBA will expand when it earns those greater compensation, not when players demand them without producing results. If Angel Reese truly believes she deserves more, then prove it. Reese can compare herself to the NBA all she wants.
You got to see this clip. Runs down court with the basketball, 3-4 steps ahead of everybody, has an easy layup, and throws it to the girl behind her. No skills.
So Lexi Hall's right here, right? She's going to come out here. She gets the ball. Going to pass it into Angel. Look at this, folks. That's Lexi Hall. Wide ass open. Does she get the ball? Angel not only did not pass the ball back out to Lexi Hall, but she missed another freaking layup.
Since Caitlin Clark is currently the only person keeping her in the spotlight, what do you think is delusional about Angel Reese making these demands? Did Caitlin Clark just put an end to this argument once and for all? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe, and check back for more updates.